everybody, ODC here, and I'm back with another action figure review. Today's review, we're going to take a look at the Star Wars Black Series Clone Wars Ahsoka Tano figure. This is a figure that's kind of been eluding me for quite a while. This was, I think the only Ahsoka figure I ever really wanted was the interpretation from the Clone Wars, and for some reason, well, I think we all know the reasons why, but this is the version that is garnishing the most on the aftermarket, unfortunately. I did miss the pre-order on this. I paid a little bit more than retail to get this. I paid around $30 to get this with shipping included, which isn't too egregious, but still, I normally don't like paying above retail. Especially for a figure that only comes with 2 lightsabers, and that's it. No extra hands, no nothing. Just 2 lightsabers and lightsaber blades, if you want to count that as accessories too, but they come attached, so I don't know if I can really count that. But this is the version that I really wanted. It's also on the slimmer teen body. It is an all-new sculpt for this body, which is pretty cool. It's not being reused or anything like that. There is some new sculpting on the body as well. I think this figure ranges anywhere from, regular retail all the way up to like $50 to $60. I think it's completely ridiculous to spend that amount. Kind of mad at myself for even spending $30, to be honest with you, on it, but with shipping included, it wasn't too bad. Normally with tax and shipping, it would have been around probably $27 to $30 anyway, buying it from a secondary comic shop. So with that being said, I think I do like the figure. Like I said, this is the version of her that I really always wanted. I think it is the best looking version of her, and yeah, I don't mind it. I like the head sculpt. It is supposed to be a younger version, the Padawan version of Ahsoka. I think my first version that I got was the Rebels look, which the look of the figure looks accurate to what she would be if she was in realistic, because they always kind of do that. They take the animated designs and then give them a realistic face sculpt to kind of fit in with the rest of the Star Wars Black Series movie looking universe. So I don't quite mind that, but on the old one, the figure just had issues standing, constantly balancing. Just not a very fun figure to play around with, where this one balances very easy, even with the small feet that she does have. But I think the small feet are proportionate. If I could fix a couple things on the figure, I would have liked maybe a little bit wider feet, just a hair wider, not too wide where it takes away the look of the character or anything like that. Just a little bit wider of a foot. Also, one more thing, I would have liked it if the toes could go a little bit further forward so you could get a little bit better range of motion. I mean, it's pretty much just a neutral setting as far as that foot going forward, which is unfortunate. She is on this skinny teen body, which makes sense because she's supposed to be much younger for this look. She has single-jointed elbows and single-jointed knees, which we're pretty much used to with the Black Series. So nothing different or insane there as far as something different or new, but it is on a newer body. Let me just adjust my camera really quick, and we'll get down into the nitty-gritty. Let's get to accessories. Like I said, the only accessories that she really does come with are these 2 lightsabers, which Ahsoka does wield. She's a dual wielder. And here is the shorter blade right here. And then here is the longer blade right here, which is pretty accurate to how her hilts looked. And they do have pegs right there and a peg right here on the smaller one. And you can just kind of set that right into here. Obviously, you can take the blades out if you want to, but they do just sit right in there. And I kind of hate when people don't take the blade out and they set them in there. So I'll just take the blade out. I'm not going to be a doofus and leave the blades in so it looks all funky. We're going to make her look like she's supposed to. The plastic that they are plugging into for her belt is a pliable plastic, so you don't have to worry about putting pressure or anything stress cracking or anything like that. So that should be a non-issue as well. And the look that you get in a relaxed form, I think, is pretty well done. So you don't have to worry about that either. And there you go as far as that's concerned. I think she looks pretty official. I mean, you could have her just standing there at attention. You could have her, you know, a little bit more relaxed with it. Maybe just give her a little bit more of a relaxed pose. Bring that arm in, hide it a little bit behind her back, and then she's just kind of standing around waiting for her master, Anakin, to give her the next details for the next mission or whatever she's going to do. So, I don't know. I think any kind of stance you give with her is going to be a good one. So, she's pretty well articulated and good range of motion there. So, those are the accessories as far as those go. As far as her articulation does go, the head can swivel. And the head isn't too egregious as far as it getting in the way of the shoulders, so you don't have to worry about that too much. The head can look up about that far, and that's about neutral, so just one tick back. Head can't look, well, it can look down a little bit. I think it's on a ball peg joint with a ball peg at the neck as well. So you have that as far as an option for range of motion and articulation and stuff like that. Let's see if she's got jive turkeys. Nah, a little turkey, just a, that's it. Doesn't really move too much. We've got arms that go up about this far. And I guess if you force it, you can get her kind of into a straight T-pose, but it's a little bit hindered. So not the deepest range for that hinge joint right there. She does have a butterfly joint, but it's almost utterly useless. It is very limited, but it is there a little bit. We have a single jointed elbow, swivel at the elbow. We have a hinge joint. It is there. I was looking almost for a ball joint at the wrist because they're starting to do that, but this is a little bit of an older figure, I guess. Not too old, but a little older. And then a swivel at that wrist. So vertical hinge joint on this side and a vertical hinge joint on that side. Pretty much what a Jedi needs. And articulation is mirrored on the other side. We have a swivel at the waist joint, no diaphragm joint or anything like that because I think the torso is so short, they didn't do that. But she can pivot back, forward, tilt side to side, swivel, like I said, full 360 if you needed to. The legs can go forward and the skirt is a pliable plastic and it can go back. She does have let me check here. She has no upper thigh swivel, but you do have a lot of range of motion in that deep thigh cut where you can still swivel a little bit. I would like them to go back to having an actual cut swivel joint at the thigh. We do need that, especially with all Jedi characters. They should all have that. I know some new media don't have it, but especially a character like Ahsoka, she's very agile, very nimble, and you want her to be able to do a lot of things. Single jointed knee right there, a swivel at the knee. It is kind of a dainty knee too. The peg is very thin on this. You can actually feel it and tell. But we do have the swivel and the bend, and that's the full bend right there. She can point the toe very nicely, but she can't really point her heel too much. That's pretty much neutral. And then ankle pivot and 2 peg holes at the front of her feet and a partridge in a pear tree. As far as the head sculpt does go, I really do quite like this head sculpt. I think it did a really good job with the sculpt and with the, I'm not sure what this is called. Somebody let me know in the comments, but the little doodad that kind of dangles on her head. I'm sure it's called something very specifically Star Wars-y, but I don't know it offhand. I'll probably have to look it up and probably should have before the review. Oh, well. The sculpting right here on her armbands are pretty cool, and over here as well. So that's nice. The sculpting for her wrist guards and her hand guard is really nice. and they're essentially gloves, kind of. They're like Shawn Michaels gloves almost, where they're really long. But there's my Shawn Michaels reference for the video. We do have the belt here, which looks very nice, and it has some detail going on the front, and that is just printed on, but nice sculpt for that. And there's a little pocket in the back. Looks good. Some sculpting for the actual legs and these little slits for where it shows her exposed leg. Those are actually sculpted in, so that's nice, and it goes all the way down to the boot. And that brings me to the boots, and I think they're nicely sculpted with some gold detail for the buckles. And yeah, looks really good. I'm very actually pleased with this figure. The figure itself, like I said, I think it's a fun figure. It does what it needs to do. Oh, and she does have, I believe let me double check this, but I almost want to say, does she have a boot swivel? She does have a boot swivel as well. So I apologize for not bringing that up, but it's very hard to tell. But you can tell if the boot is not lining, or if the exposed leg parts are not lining up properly. Swivel that boot and then swivel that again. I'm not sure it really needed that. I would have preferred a thigh cut here as opposed to a boot swivel here. But it's, it's fine. It's whatever, I guess. But I think she's fun. She can do a bunch of poses. I mean, the only issue is that her head is a little bit hindered. Let's get her into a somewhat different pose. We'll get this stretched out here. We'll get her looking this way, and we'll get her pointing that way, and get her doing something a little bit different. Let's get her pointing that down like she's about to take on Grievous or something like that. And I don't know. It's just a simple figure. It's a Jedi. It's another one to go on the Clone Wars shelf. And I think it works. I think it works nicely. I'm not the biggest Ahsoka fan, but she is an important part of the Clone Wars and that show, which is, for some reason, lately getting more flack than I thought it really ever would. Some people are souring on that show a little bit, but I never had an issue with it. I actually liked even the movie, which is, mediocre at best, but it's a lot better than most the media coming out of Disney these days. So anyway, I digress. That's a different story for a different time. I would give this a let's go with the verdict here, and then we'll close out for the day if I can find my situation here. Let's give her, I'm going to go ahead and give her a 2 thumbs up. I think she's solid figure. It would have been nice to get, I don't know, just some extra hands. I think would have been nice. Maybe 2 sets of extra hands, and that thigh cut, and maybe point the heel, a little bit better than is available. But other than that, I think that's pretty much it for this review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to make your own decision as far as what you think about this figure. Do you already own it? Are you on the fence about getting it? I would definitely not recommend picking this up for anything over $30. I just don't think it's worth that. She doesn't really come with much. She is a key component, but with the Black Series re-releasing high valued figures, I would just say maybe if she is too expensive at 30 or more, just wait, and they'll probably end up re-releasing her anyway. And Ahsoka does sell pretty decently, especially I think this version sold very well, so I could definitely see Hasbro re-releasing this down the road. But that's it for me. I would like to thank my my members, and I do have memberships going on. I only have 1 tier for memberships as of this point. Maybe I'll do another tier down the road just to see how that works. But I do have custom emojis and badges. So if you do want to join, you can. And thank you to Woodman, and thank you to Terry Turner for being my first 2 members. I leave the link in the memberships down below. For some reason, I don't have a join button yet. I don't know why. Maybe I have to hit a certain threshold to get the join button. But if you want to join and become a Jive Turkey, you can. It's right in the description box below. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks you so much for your time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, and I will see you guys on the flip side.